Hello, my air signs. I had to think for a second. I am back. It took me a bit. I started to upload some of these readings and then I fell off. I was looking for some love decks and then they never came through. I had some other stuff going on that I had to deal with. I'm gonna try to get back to some of these readings because people have been asking. So here I am. We're gonna see how it is. So this is for October, whenever you find this message, but it is for the air signs. Here's the first one coming out. Oh, here we go, air signs. Lord. So air signs. So this is Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Look, last time I left y'all off, y'all was going through it. And this card coming out as the first one, this is what your soul is trying to talk about. And, whew. Okay, some creativity. Okay. We're gonna see where it's at. Air signs. How things been going. Turn it into a 3. I mean, you try to manifest, that's for sure. Might be some betrayals. It's in a relationship, situationship, friendship, something. And then grief. Oh, man. My air signs. Okay. So this first card that we have coming up here from betrayal. This is actually coming from your soul is where this message is coming from. And it's asking you who really betrayed you? You know, because when people betray us, it's a mirror about where we're also betraying ourselves. A lot of the times when... I'm going to just gather myself for a second. Because when people betray us, sometimes we have given them the crack to wiggle their way in to betray us. And we allowed that crack. That was us betraying ourselves. Like when you have a gut knowing, don't trust that person. Don't get in that car. Don't be with these people. You just be like, well, maybe just for an hour. Well, maybe just this week. That's you opening that door. And then once you crack open that door and then they just get all up in there and then they somehow betray you, but you left the door open. I know that's hard for some people to hear. Look, over my life, it has been hard for me to hear the same thing. How I co-created some of the mess I found myself in. Ooh, girl. It was like... Look, there's even some days, look, I still be like, what you mean? This ain't me. Look, let's sit down in the mirror, honey, and really have a good conversation with ourselves. So again, betrayal ends up just like a spider's web, right? Betrayal is a web. It's a web that gets you caught up. It disrupts everything that you thought you knew. Then when one person or one situation betrays you, you start looking around at all the other people around you, all the other situations you've been in. Look, please be very discerning right now, okay? Because I know that when you've been betrayed, it's so hard to trust people. But without trusting people, you live in a lie. And the biggest thing, we often don't even trust ourselves. So many of us, we be living the biggest lie because we don't even trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves, so we be grabbing and going and asking people, tell me about... Sit down and get real with yourself a little bit, you know, like tune in with yourself, check in with yourself. You got to trust yourself. It's really hard to trust other people when you don't trust yourself. So that's the first step. Really get in touch with trusting yourself, please, my air signs. The second thing is when you are starting to build trust with people, just know that it takes time. It takes time to build trust. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, for some people it does, but not for everybody, especially if you've been hurt before, especially if you've been betrayed before, especially if you come from a background that's filled with like trauma and chaos and disruption and having to learn that you earn trust based on what you can give and what you can provide and what you can do, like going into that level of people pleasing and trauma. No, like learn first and foremost to trust yourself. Don't leave the door open a crack. And you don't really have to go looking to everybody else to fill up your cup and be like, well, I trust you, but really you don't be trusting them, then you just don't trust them. That's okay. Now, where have you been letting yourself down? Where have you been letting yourself go? Where have you been leaving yourself out of the equation? Again, this is that people pleasing. People pleasing, trying to help other people, be there for other people. Look, you can't be there for somebody else if you can't even be there for yourself. Again, is betraying yourself. Please don't do it. Don't betray yourself. Don't do it, okay? Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. The message that's coming through from your give me a second. Your mind. Y'all. It's this air energy. Y'all always be on one. Anyways, so coming up from your mind here, it's creativity. So this is a time where this is a really good time to be able to create, to use your gifts to multiply, like your magic, your manifestation. And you're really a creative force. Really a creative force. How creative do you let yourself be? Again, I feel like some of y'all aren't letting yourself be as creative because of some betrayal that you faced. Some of y'all, it's like you let go of your creativity, your hobbies, your passions, the things that you love for somebody else, and then they ended up betraying your ass. But really, you were betraying yourself to begin with because you let a part of yourself go. Now, you didn't let it go on the spiritual level, but maybe the emotional, maybe the physical, what have you. You need to get back to this. You see all this beautiful divine energy up in this card? Like, you need to get back to yourself and being creative, knowing that you are that visionary, that when you see, feel, or like get that something ain't right, you know, trust it, you know. A lot of people who are really creative, you know, like artists, and there's all different types of artists, you know, musicians, what have you. A lot of creative people really do have that strong intuitive nudge in nature because they connect to it, you know. That's a part of where their creativity is driven. It's driven by that, you know what I'm saying? And they follow it. That's why they're so creative. They so ahead of the time. It's like, damn, look at those people. Follow that for yourself, because that's where a lot of your happiness resides. That's what your mind's telling you. So I don't know what you let go of. But there's some of y'all that have betrayed yourself by letting go of this. And then there's other ones of y'all that you let go of some of the things you really enjoy doing, to people please, to be there for other people. And you ended up still getting damn betrayed anyways. And they're telling you, like, just, no, get back to this. Get back to being creative, because you are so creative. You are creative. You can get so much done with your creativity. And learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself, you know? And then we got grief. 9, so it's an 11. Break it down, still a 2. Coming back to a 2. So you come back full cycle. And with this full moon that we just had in Aries yesterday, look, y'all. This is definitely a time for you guys to let some stuff go. Grieve whatever this betrayal is or is coming. Grieve it out. Grieve it out. Now, that doesn't mean jump to conclusions to be like, I know they're going to hurt me, so I'm just going to walk away here first. Just, baby, just slow down. Take a deep breath. Okay? Sometimes you got to let things play out. But if you know in your heart of hearts that something is not good for you and it's not right, and it's been staunching your creativity, your creative flow, your hobbies, that passion, that light inside of you, then it's best to let this go before it does betray you. Okay? Especially because it's going to end up having you betraying yourself, which you'd be doing right now anyways if it's for somebody else. Regardless, if you really know it's coming, something's coming, then it's okay. Start backing off and letting go. And it's telling you to start grieving. So see, sometimes I've noticed spiritually, sometimes people will grieve. This has happened to me. I'll be grieving something. I don't even know what I'm grieving. I'm just, I'm just a mess. And I'm like, what is... And so I got to go check in and be like, what am I processing? Because I physically don't see it yet. And I'm like, what am I grieving? So I got to sit with myself, check in. And of course, I check in with my deities and what have you. And I'd be like, okay, what's up? So some of y'all might already be grieving and the betrayal ain't even hit yet. And some of y'all gonna end up getting the betrayal. And this is your body saying, grieve, let it out, let it go. Because I also feel like some of y'all are holding on to old grief. Like old grief. Stuff that isn't even just about this situation, this person that's betraying you and you betraying yourself and what have you. Like some of this is some old grief that you be carrying around. And it's this people pleasing. Please stop. And it's hard. I know it's so hard to stop people pleasing sometimes. Like, especially as we start to get older, you can go one of two ways. You want to make friends. It gets hard to make friends when you get older. It's so bizarre. It should be easier because we should be more secure and vulnerable, but whatever. And as you get older, it's like you want to make these friends and then you still run into some mean people. You know what I'm saying? Some mean people. And then sometimes you go into this old habit of people pleasing and being in like the wrong crowds with the wrong people, the wrong relationships, because you're looking to make somebody else happy because you haven't fully healed a part of yourself that needs healing, that realizes, I don't need this external validation. I'm good enough on my own, baby. Look, me, the spirits in the tree, it's a wrap. We got it covered. I don't need the rest of y'all to be fake with me, okay? So that is something that sometimes we have to cultivate as we get older. And again, I don't remember which reading it was that I just did, but these things kind of keep cycling up. We don't ever tend to fully get away from some of the things we've dealt with from childhood. It gets easier to process them. It gets easier to spot it. So then we're not spinning out of control and ending up in some of these situations and neglecting ourselves. But first, before any of that, you gotta grieve. As somebody who's had a lot happen in their life, I could tell you this as a spiritualist, as a psychic, as a medium, as a practitioner, as a priestess in training, as a human, as a mother, as a daughter. Like, look, I've been through some shit, okay? And when you don't let yourself grieve properly, you best believe this is going to keep coming back. Again and again and again and again. And it'll come back in different ways where you're like, I just don't, because it's all connected, baby. It is like the domino effect. It is like the domino effect. So you really got to let yourself grieve. So, I mean, if you've lost somebody, you've been heartbroken, you lost a job, you broke up, you've had a disappointment, you're not friends with somebody, or you thought you was friends with somebody, like whatever the case is, let yourself grieve. Now, I also want to send this message though, because sometimes sometimes situations will come up where ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong at all with the connection you're in. Ain't no betrayal coming from the other person. They cool. But it's you. You haven't dealt with some of the grief that you've needed to. So you are getting ready in your little mind to spin some topsy-turvy tale, okay? And just get yourself up out of control and make it about the other person and that they gonna hurt you and they did this and they did that. And what it really is your unhealed trauma trying to grieve it out. It is your little inner person being like, I just want to feel better. Like, look, it's the God's honest truth. It's the God's honest truth. And this is the time. Like, let it out, cry it out, get some help, go for counseling. If you're in a tradition, like talk to your priest, your priestesses, get the help, man, because there's help out there. There really is. Speaking of which, I mean, I do provide a lot of those services as well, as a side note. But please, work through the grief, work through the trauma, work through the issues, let it go, learn to cope. Stop living in a fragmented reality, because this is how you end up betraying yourself too. You know, you live in one part of your life and your existence, and there's all this other stuff over here that you ain't really dealt with and addressed, or you did, but you just put a band-aid on it. It is gonna come back and bite you in your sweet ass, let me tell you. And it ain't gonna feel too sweet, okay? Please remember that as you're grieving and as you're letting go and you're giving it over to like the divine, and you're processing all your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, and some of this can be some old stuff. I'm telling you, especially after this full moon we just had, this is a time, it is like asking us, like, let go of a lot of stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that's been holding you back, let it go. This is the time to purge it. Let it go. But as you're working through this, just remember that you are supported by your loved ones, those you can see, those you can't see, your ancestors, everybody and thing that walks with you, okay? You really are. I'm feeling like you guys are gonna get a different deck. All the other readings didn't ask for this deck. Y'all gonna get this deck, air signs. That sounded a little bit inappropriate, wasn't it? I said deck. D-E-C-K. D-E. Just for the YouTube people. Oh, all right. What you got to tell my air signs here about this reading that came out? These messages. You got any final things to say? New beginnings. Oh God, that's beautiful. Hot damn, that's beautiful. I love it. I'm here for it. Who ain't here for a new beginning? Look, man, each and every day is a new beginning. Look at that card. Look at that card. Look, the sun is so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Traditionally, in a lot of traditions, the sun was always revered and worshipped because, look, when the sun went out and the people didn't have all the scientific intervention and the information, it was kind of like, is this sun gonna come up again? Sun come up again? Woo! Everybody was rejoicing. Literally a new beginning. Just know the sun is coming out. There is a new beginning coming. Your life is ready to expand in such a profound way, okay? There is so much newness coming into your life, so much vitality, so many opportunities. Like this is a really good time after you get through the grief and you get through this betrayal. Like this is telling you, start fresh, man. Start new. Ain't no shame in the game of flipping a coin and starting all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like there ain't no shame in starting from scratch, because you really ain't starting from scratch. You starting from experience. You ain't starting from lack. You ain't starting from the very dry beginning. Let me tell you, you are starting from right where you need to, but it's going to feel fresh because you're going to let go of this so that you don't get none of this, and you just focus on this creativity and this newness. This is what I'm saying. I'm here for it. Divine timing. Timing is everything. And let me tell you, when you aren't letting go of hurt and pain and betrayal and confusion, and you live in fragmented, it's really hard to start a new beginning because you're trying to draw in all these pieces, like, oh, let me get some of this, let me get some of that. Like, you're trying to just draw in everything. And it's really hard. And you don't want to carry old baggage. Look, what song's coming to me? Bag lady, you gon' hurt your back. Like, you don't yeah, dragging all that stuff around here, baby, no. Don't drag this into this new beginning that is here for you. Please let it go. Trust and believe. Let it go, because this new beginning is here for you. Okay, trust and believe it's here for you. You're ready to expand. You're luminous, you're beautiful, glowing and growing. You just gotta let some of this go. All right, trust and believe. You gotta let some of this go. I think that's it, y'all. That's it. I love y'all. I see my air signs is just be doing what they doing. Okay, I love y'all. Be well, stay safe.